I am here today in conversation, our third conversation of our season of creation here at Nativity Cathedral. I am here in conversation with
Cathy
Bailey, and we are grateful to be in conversation together during these 6 weeks, of which this is now the third, where we are focusing our liturgy and our worship and also our conversation around care of God's creation, which will culminate, of course, in an action on
October 17th and 18th. We are part of a group who will be gathering at 3rd and Wyandotte with banners and our presence and our prayers, asking people to join us to tell the world, the country, President Biden, everybody who will listen, that we want to protect God's earth.
Fabulous. And that is called Faiths for number 4, Climate Justice. Hashtag Faiths for Climate Justice. My brain almost forgot it, but it is an important hashtag and a reminder that as people of faith, not just Christians, but our siblings of faith across religions, that across all of the major religions, care of creation is a central aspect of what it means to be people of faith.
And we want to put our faith on the street so
people
can see it.
We do. God's calling us out to remind our neighbors that we stand for this earth and for this planet and for this beautiful world that God has created. So Cathy, our topic today, last week we talked about power. So this week we're talking about
transportation.
Oh boy, my favorite.
Now, transportation, the first thing I think of is my car. But we're talking about transportation not only of people, but also of products, so goods, foods, and other items that gets transported around. And I know I live in Hanover Township near an industrial park, and there are trucks. Oh my gosh.
Well, logistics, everywhere. Right? The Lehigh Valley is booming with logistics and trucking and warehousing and all of that
and
stuff.
They're all transporting goods. So we're consuming, so they're got to transport them to us.
Of course. Yeah. And I imagine with the pandemic over the past year and a half, that has only meant more people are ordering, have moved from buying in stores to ordering online, which means that it comes to house, which means that it's been transported by truck and then a UPS or a FedEx truck or a USPS truck and to wherever it is that you live. So all of that factors into
this use of transportation. It's like 33% of the global emissions is a result of some kind of transportation.
Right. So power, this large chunk, last week we talked about, and this week this other significant chunk, which is transportation. So how do we navigate into thinking, taking stock of our own use of transportation as people of God, people of faith?
Right.
How do we do that? And then how do we navigate into a place of greater care of the earth around that?
So, one of the things that I think about is my car. So I do not have a hybrid car at this point. I think I probably will buy one at some point. But a hybrid or electric, it's becoming, I was at the Giant and they had one of those electric plug things.
It's true.
So
more and more frequent.
More and more frequent. So thanks to President Biden and some of that infrastructure, I think that's going to be increasing a lot pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But so the one thing I can do for my car is to make sure that it's well maintained, because it'll get better gas mileage if I keep it tuned up and the tires inflation and that kind of stuff. So that
emissions inspection, of course, making sure that emissions are at least
I didn't think of that because I don't have a choice about that.
Right, but exactly. It's true. At least in Pennsylvania we have that, right? I've lived other places where that was not something that was required, right? Yeah. I'm naive.
And then when I think about transporting, other things like, can I walk? I'm lucky. I live a half a mile from a grocery store, so I can walk. If I'm just picking up a couple of things, I'll do that. Riding a bicycle, getting around that way. I admit our city transportation is probably not really the best option for most people, but if that's something that's good in your area, that may be something you want to consider
Public
using.
transportation. Well,
Yes.
hopefully with movement towards this infrastructure stuff from the federal level, hopefully that will also
Get
increase
better. Yes,
some
hopefully.
of that. We need that both for folks who are marginalized and poor, as well as for cutting down on emissions. Yeah.
I did just learn, this is exciting news, the Mack truck plant in Macungie, which is local, are testing now an electric garbage truck.
Oh, cool.
So,
right, because think of all the rounds that a garbage truck
yes,
is
so
emitting.
they're actually testing it in New York City and are expecting to be able to start replacing garbage trucks with electric garbage trucks, which will first of all be quieter, what they say.
Right.
So if you're one of those people like me, where it goes by at 4:00 in the morning,
right, it does my house
wakes
too.
me up.
Yes, yeah.
But,
well,
so that's exciting.
Good old. That's also good old-fashioned Lehigh Valley ingenuity too, right? Mack trucks, thinking about ways to meet the challenges of climate change and of creation care, we would call it.
But the other thing I think about is where's my food coming from? Is my food getting trucked across the country? Are the things that I'm buying getting trucked across the country? So I'm trying to use local flea markets or thrift shops to buy things that are used secondhand so that they're not getting trucked around. And then also farmers markets or local fruit stands or those kind of places.
The Bethlehem Food Co-op, which is underway. All of those are possible outlets.
And there's lots of local farms that have food available for purchase.
Right. So even as I'm thinking this through, as we're talking about it, Cathy, even just beginning to take stock of my own use of transportation, not just the immediates of me getting in my car, turning it on and driving from here to there, but also the ways that all of the things that I get and consume use transportation, oftentimes international transportation, right? I mean, one of the things that we've learned in pandemic time is how much stuff comes from other places across the globe. Right. And so that's all transportation as well. What does it look like to source more locally? This was one of the things that the previous presidential administration was interested in, was how do we move things more local? How do we get things back into the U.S.? And so what does it look like to try to source more locally and to build up businesses that also source
that are
locally?
American, or at least on this side of the globe.
Exactly. Yeah. And that helps cut down on transportation as well. Fascinating, Cathy. This has been also another learning experience for me to think through that, and I hope it has been a learning experience for all of you. We do encourage you, if you are feeling like you have questions or want to have access to more resources, do reach out to Cathy Bailey. Her email is available and will be available with this as well, or to me, and my email is available as well. And if you are feeling called to join us in this movement of creation care, please also reach out. We would be delighted to talk more about what it looks like to build this ministry, Creation Care Ministry, and our Green Faith Circle here at Nativity and in the Lehigh Valley.
And we hope you'll join us on October 17th and 18th.
We do. Come out and be part of the crowd.
Come out and stand on the corner.
Yes. Blessings until next week, and we look forward to talking then.
We will.